Some of y'all are thinking, not again. Logan again? Y'all need to go forward with thinking that. Don't quit. Just think about that. Don't quit. There's 150 reasons to quit. You come up with them all. There's a study that was done about why people quit their job. And I kind of stole this, but the study is done not long ago, and researchers listed the most repeated reasons that people quit their job. Maybe you've been there, maybe you can relate to some of these. Number one, work had lost its meaning. Lost its meaning, lost enthusiasm, no longer inspired by it, no longer, excited about it, no longer, it kind of lost its meaning. Secondly, not well treated. You can probably relate to that. Didn't really treat me very well. I'm gone. Poor encouragement, too negative feedback. That's number two. No support, number three. Too much responsibility, not much appreciation. Maybe y'all can relate to that. Number four, lack of growth opportunities. Same old, not moving forward, not moving upward, not kind of in the same mundane thing. I don't know, maybe some of you have been there in your job. Number five, lacked financial incentive. We look at these five, and I think, why do people quit with their job? And I look at these and I think, well, let me just give you, before we get there, let me give you some bad news. I have some bad news. Jay Mock and Dale Goad, they were getting some calls about the building, the new building, and why didn't you do this, or why didn't you do that, and they didn't feel much support, so they quit. Well, not really, but imagine that. It's my understanding that Dale has been through a whole lot lately, and so has Jay. With the rain, you can imagine. How many times do you think they could have said, no, we can't do this? It's just the pressure, the people, what they want, what the builders, what they're doing, the contractors, they could have said, no, the elders, and going through what they're going. How many times could the elders have said, this is too tough, I'm out of here? Don't quit. And you may have quit before in a job, and in construction, we moved around a little bit, but I want to warn you, with these that we listed, these five things, there is not much difference in the service to the Lord. There's not much difference when somebody says, you know what, I'm done with the church right now, I'm just not getting these five things. Lost its meaning, not well treated, no support, no growth opportunities, well, that financial might not be. But you understand how these relate to people when we don't see them, and they're gone Wednesday nights, and then all of a sudden they're gone Sunday nights, and then all of a sudden we don't see them on Sunday mornings. And we've got to be watching for those people, don't we? So the elders have seen it over and over. Lane and I and Jared have seen it, and you know who's at the bottom of this when you feel like quitting? Is the devil.
That's right.
And even if it's, somebody said something, and nobody said anything, don't think I'm aiming at anything. But somebody said something to me, somebody upset me, which happens a lot in a congregation of this size. Somebody did this, somebody did that. It's the devil behind it, and he wants you to stop. 100 reasons to quit, but there's one cross-centered reason to stay faithful. Turn to Acts 22. I have 3 quick scriptures, and I've got to be fast. So, Acts 22, turn there, and I think, what if Paul, actually I want to start in 21, Acts 21, and verse 27. And I'm going to kind of drag a net through this, if you understand. Acts 22, 27, okay? The Jews stirred up the whole crowd. In verse 27, the city was stirred up in verse 29 and 30. The people are running together. They're seeking to kill Paul. All of Jerusalem is in confusion. They're seeking to kill him in verse 31. They've arrested him in verse 33. They bound him in chains. They're shouting and dragging a net through this of all the things they're doing. They're shouting. You can imagine the mob mentality. Away with him. Away with him. And in verse 37, this is 21:37, as Paul is about to be brought into the barracks, he said to the tribune, "May I say something to you all?" He said, "Y'all," I'm pretty sure. And he said, and he goes on, and here's what he said. He said, "I want to say something to you all." I mean, think about what's going on. All the persecution that he's facing, and he says this. And Paul said it. What if he said this?
I studied under Gamaliel.
Fellas, I quit. What if he said, "I quit"? They're trying to turn it off. Y'all be bear with me. It's okay. What if he said, "I quit"? What if he said, "Guys, this is getting too tough. The persecution's too great. I'm tired. I've been teaching the gospel from one place to the next. I'm running into these struggles. It's getting hard. I've not been well treated. I mean, I'm going from city to city. I'm not sure this is worth doing what I'm doing. I quit. I'm through traveling. I'm through trying to convince people. You don't have to persecute me. You don't have to beat me. You don't have to flog me. It's okay. I'm done. I can't handle this. You're not very receptive. I'm stopping. You know what? The church doesn't really need me anymore. How many times have we heard that? I'm too old. Could Paul have said that? I'm too old. I've put in my time. I'm done. If you're determined to quit, guess what? You will convince yourself that it's okay to quit. But if you're determined to say, "I'm not going to stop, no matter what," then you will not stop, no matter what. Especially if it's cross-centered. So here's a solution. The best reason not to quit. Next, I'm going to add 2, okay? 2 top reasons not to quit. Number 1, there are people who don't know Jesus Christ. Number 2, there is a great eternal reward waiting for every child of God. Some of you, the devil's paying rent on your heart because you're so discouraged in life. And he's planted himself around you, and he wants you to say, "I'm done." And we as Christians have got to find more ways, in many ways as possible, to stick around those people who are discouraged and keep encouraging them. But listen, we got to get the devil off of us. When I became a Christian, I didn't say, "Lord, I'm a child of yours," until it gets tough. And then I can't. I'm respectful of others during this time. I'm not hiding. We've got to get creative, brothers and sisters. We've got to get creative. Set our mind on things above, not on things of this earth. That's what we got to do. Keep setting our mind on things above. Look, as I look over and I see them taking notes, I get emotional. I got to stop looking at them and taking notes. Look at that. There's a great young group here that's watching every single one of us. And that tells me, Logan, do not stop anything that you're doing. And when Landon gets up here and he is smiling and he is mouthing every single word to their victory in Jesus, that tells me, you know what's happening in big cities right now? And here's Landon up there smiling, singing victory in Jesus. I'm not quitting, y'all. I'm not stopping. Turn to 2 Timothy chapter 4. 2 Timothy chapter 4. And then we'll close. The end of Paul's life, 2 Timothy 4:16. And I almost cried just reading this. 2 Timothy 4:16. At my first defense, no one came to stand by me, and all deserted me. may it not be charged against them. But the Lord stood by me. Acts 23:11. You remember that? When the Lord said, you got this. You're going from Jerusalem to Rome. You got this, Paul. The Lord stood by me and strengthened me, that through the message might be fully proclaimed and all the Gentiles might hear it. So I was rescued from the lion's mouth. The Lord will rescue me from every evil deed and bring me safely into his heavenly kingdom. To him be the glory forever and ever. There may be some tonight. Maybe you want to throw in the towel. They're talking to some teachers. Listen, I can't imagine what you're going through. We gather here, and some of you are exhausted, but I want to say this tonight. If you're spiritually thinking, I'm ready to throw it in, but the devil's using all of his best tools on me, Jesus didn't quit at the denial so that you would meet him. We would meet him. There's someone that needs prayers tonight regarding that. We'd be glad to pray with you. We stand and sing.